everybody. Welcome to Tackle Industry Showcase. This is the show that will introduce you to the movers and shakers of the tackle industry. What's trending new? What's trending true? The Tackle Industry Showcase has your next story. Our guest today is George Copple of Copple Outfitters. George, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Keith. I appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about Copple Outfitters. I'm intrigued by the name. I'm intrigued by the whole thing. Let's talk about the vision. Let's get it out there.
Yeah. We're kind of we're just kind of starting up here the last couple of years. Copple Outfitters, of course, it's our last name. We grew up in Southern California, kind of just a family who did everything outdoors, from fishing, hunting, just hanging out at the river, whatever you could think of. So kind of, I guess the vision was to just kind of share that love for being outdoors with other families more than anything. Kind of, we've got kids of our own, and being a kid when I started getting into it, see too many kids falling off and not kind of getting into the outdoors. So we're kind of driven towards that, and just making awareness of how great the outdoors is through our clothing, hopefully.
Now you're a transplant. I see that Padres banner in the back there. That gives me a California connection. Is that where it all started?
Yeah, we grew up. I was born and raised in Blythe, California, down in Southern California, right on the Arizona California border, and I've kind of lived there my whole life. San Diego Padres comes from. I went to San Diego State University, so I'm an Aztec. Okay. The Padres kind of grew on me in my time there. But we just recently, me and the family, kind of up and moved to Central Ohio right before the pandemic and everything hit, actually. So yeah, we're new to Ohio, but we've over 30 plus years living in Southern California, and that's kind of, I think, through our clothing and everything, especially here in the Midwest, it's a little different than what most people wear here. We try to keep it kind of fresher and beachy feeling, but it's been a good move so far.
If you're not familiar with the name, you can follow Copple Outfitters at Copple Outfitters on Instagram. The website is
www.coppleoutfitters.com.
So the thing that really interests me about the name, the Outfitters concept, is because when I look up the word Outfitters, it has gigantic meaning. It's not clothing company. It's not fishing equipment company. It's really kind of undefined, and that's a good thing, I think, because it allows directions, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's something, actually, we started before even there was Copple Outfitters. I actually started dabbling in kind of selling things, and the merchandise and retail sales part with making custom baits. Clothing kind of is something that, just because I was so picky on everything that I wear, I kind of went down the route of finding things that I like to wear, and not having to get them off the hanger in the stores. And it was something that just kind of fell into us. But that's kind of the vision moving forward, is to turn it into a true outfitter of kind of everything. We have started carrying missile baits recently. So there's clothing. Now we've got some soft plastic baits. We've got some jigs coming in soon from them also. And in the next couple of weeks here, we're also going to have the Tacticam, the fisheye cameras available. So I think originally we started just trying to do more of a kind of grassroots, get our name known a little bit with the apparel side of it. And then that way, with our own apparel, we could kind of scale at the pace we felt we needed to, and we're able to. And now we're finally getting to that level of where we think we've got enough name recognition where we can start adding some other things into it. So we're kind of starting to hit on that big, broad, all-encompassing Outfitters name finally. But it's I think taking our time, and it's doing it the right way. So we're moving in the right direction.
Tell us a little bit about, give us a rundown on the products that you offer. You mentioned clothing, the missile baits. That's a very cool line. It's a well promoted line. You've got the Elite Series Pro. I don't want to call him Tom Cruise. I don't want to call him Tom Cruise. His last name is Cruise.
Yeah,
But
John Cruise.
yes, absolutely, John Cruise. But he's got a legion of sponsored anglers that are out there. So missile baits, those are gonna sell themselves. Just, you're not gonna have to worry about trying to sell those things.
Yeah, and it's something where I know I've been using them a lot myself since they've come out, and kind of just like what you were mentioning. He's got with him, he's got Mike Iaconelli and a bunch of other guys who are just they're tour pros. They know what to put into baits. It's something we trust and use ourselves, and there isn't going to be anything on our site that we don't use personally. We might not be. We're not trying to go up and compete with the tackle warehouses of the world. We want just the stuff we use, we trust, and give somebody kind of a one-stop shop if they might be getting into the fishing, like the fishing lifestyle. They could come in, they could get what they need. It's stuff that's been tried and true by us, and that we back wholeheartedly, even if it's not our own name on the label. So it's missile baits. It's great. That's why they're the first thing we've got, and then also those the Tacticam. I'm excited about those. I like that. I like the concept of what they've got going, and we're excited to get our hands on those and try them out.
That's an interesting thing you bring up. That's a company that is relatively new to the action camera industry, but that has been dominated by the GoPros of the world. I guess there's only one. I guess there's only one GoPro of the world, but that is an interesting camera. I taken a look at that myself, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the options it has are great. I like the shape of it instead of the square camera. I think that was something that caught my attention right off the bat. I think it's a lot, what is it, ergonomically designed better, I think, to actually use on your person. And I think it's gonna be great. I've got one of those the YOLO Tech, the sticks that plug in to keep it to keep it charged all day. So we're gonna do some footage with that, and looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be great.
Hey, I got to ask you: are you a chest mount action camera person or a cap mount action camera person?
I've done both. I think I like the chest mount myself more. My hats, my hats are always pretty loose fitting. I don't like them real tight, so I always have it ends up being crooked one way or another with the extra weight on it from it. So I've kind of out of necessity, I think I go with the chest mount.
Okay, that's good. I always feel like the hands get in the way, but to each his own.
Yeah.
To each his own. So let's talk about. Okay, so we talked about some of the baits we have, but how about the clothing line? I mean, you mentioned it really for an Ohio guy, it does have kind of a Southern California flair to it. Is there expansion coming, or is what are the thoughts
Yeah.
there?
What I think more, and not really from a design perspective. I think just being here the time we have, especially going through our first winter here, I think more of a cold weather line next winter is something we're really keying on. I know that's kind of a long ways away and a long ways off, but that's something I know we're definitely going to be expanding on next year. And also this year, or last summer was our first year really doing sun shirts and things like that. This year we're going to expand on that and have a lot more. They did really well for us. I think if anything about the coronavirus and everything we've been going through is just personal health in general is so important. So just more options for sun care to kind of go down the whole wellness path is something we want to do also. But we've got t-shirts, we've got long sleeves, hoodies, kind of your basic staples, and we're going to be expanding on that moving forward to just like I said, not really from more design perspective, but just more options of different things to be wearing. We've got some women's clothing now that we didn't have before. Everything was kind of the unisex hoodies and t-shirts before, but now we've actually got a few women's line of clothes that are specifically for them. And our children's line, our kids line, youth line, we want to really kind of dive more into that. It's really hard to source kids clothing, which was surprising to me. So that's we're working through those that like the difficulties that come with that. But kind of women's line more for the winter, and also expanding our kids is something we're focusing on for 2021.
Outstanding, outstanding. Now, George, you got a fishing tournament background. I know that you've competed on some levels, right?
Yeah, we starting out, I mean, we've done everything from fishing with, I did lots of team tournaments fishing with my dad, which was awesome. Um, I would recommend that to anybody. If you can get your dad out there on a boat and fish some team tournaments, that's a great way to spend some time on the water. And that kind of led to, I started there, then it kind of led to, I did some FLW when it was the Strin series. I fished as a co-angler. It's kind of where I learned everything that I learned, kind of tournament wise, was that way. I got to tag along with some great pros, travel with them, pre-fish with them. Actually qualified for the Strin Series Championship as a co-angler and fished in Alabama one year. That was exciting. But yeah, it's kind of started grassroots with the local derbies. Then it kind of got regional in the team tournaments, and up into the FLW stuff as a co-angler. I fished, I think, a couple one bass tournaments. I think 2 or 3 where I was actually the boater. Mostly, it was in Lake Havasu and kind of the home lake for us when I was growing up. So, a couple pro tournaments, but mostly as a co-angler. It was good times. Got to meet some good people.
Yeah, it is a small world, the tournament world, and I find myself gravitating towards it more and more. I just feel like I want to be around other people that are involved in this. I would imagine that starting this company has kind of allowed you to be in that position. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely. It's I haven't really. It hasn't done anything from me care. I've got a couple buddies who've started their own companies, and I'm not carrying any of their lines or anything like that. But it's great to have them to fall back onto and to kind of get information when and bounce ideas off of, and just kind of networking that way. Just having somebody in the know like that is great. And it really is how it overlaps between the retail aspects and the tournament fishing, and it just goes hand in hand. And it's great to know those people and have those connections for sure.
Where do you see Copple headed in the next couple of years? I mean, not you don't have to give us a 5-year plan or anything like that, but you've mentioned some of these things, but this vastness, this outfitters. I think it's a brilliant idea, a brilliant name, because it can go so many different directions. Where are we headed in the future?
Yeah, I think one of the good things with us, kind of like the outfitter name, and that's kind of the plan from the get-go. If you look at our business model we set up when we were first starting this, was that we didn't really want to have boundaries with anything, and the outfitter name allows us to have that that ability to adjust and adapt to things moving forward. So I think we want to, in the next couple of years, it would be nice to continue to grow the clothing line of it while adding a few more of the true outfitter aspect of it, maybe some fishing rods and reels in the future. But I think one of the real things I would like to get into, maybe not even 5 years, but a little farther than that, I'd love to get into booking fishing trips overseas, kind of almost like a travel guide, but for outdoor adventure type stuff. I don't know if I really see us going that way, but kind of just like a bucket list thing that would be fun to do. I think that would be great if we can add something like that.
You mean like say El Salto trips, things like that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my
Backrack,
gosh.
El Salto, things like that. I mean, that would be it. And it's kind of a personal thing. I'd love to do it because I would probably tag along on the trips that I would book. So it would give me an excuse to go too. But yeah, that would be awesome. I think more realistically and kind of short term, though, I think it would be great to grow in the next couple of years and start seeing us pop up in some stores here and there, kind of get some footing that way, and hopefully build towards those El Salto trips.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty exciting. Well, George, thanks for being with us today. This is kind of a new thing we're doing. You know, there are big companies out there that people are aware of, but there's so many up and comers, and that need to have a story that needs to be told. And I appreciate you letting us tell part of your story today, anyway.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I love the podcast. If anybody's watching, make sure to subscribe. It's great. Lots of good content. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate the plug.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today.
Young man, take a look at me now.